Hello, Titans. I'm back for lesson 5.2, Defining Slope. Our objectives are to calculate the slope of a line by using the rise and run. We're also going to calculate the slope of a line from the ratio of the differences in x and y coordinates. Here are some glossary terms. Our slope is a rate of change, or the slant of a line. Our rise is the vertical movement from one point on a line to another point on the same line. Our run is the horizontal movement from one point on a line to another point on the same line. Remember, it has to be on the same line. So our rise is going up or down. Our run is going left or right. If it has a positive slope, the line goes from lower left to upper right, or it moves upward. A negative slope, the line goes from upper left to lower right, or it moves downward. A horizontal line, though, is when a y equals a constant, or any number. For example, y equals -2. A vertical line is when x equals a constant. For example, x equals 5. Rules and properties. Geometric interpretation of slope. This means that slope measures the steepness of a line and is given by this formula: slope equals rise over run, or the change in y over the change in x. I would definitely write this formula down. As you can see in the picture, our rise is our vertical movement, and our run is our horizontal movement, just like they were both defined. If this is confusing, then you can also do rise over run, just like I did in the blank. This can be easier so you don't mix things up and accidentally put run over rise. It's always rise over run. Well, let's say you were given 2 points and you didn't have a picture. You would then use this formula to figure out your slope. This means you take your second y minus your first y over your second x minus your first x. That's what the 2 and 1 mean. They're subscripts, not exponents, so they do not affect our numbers. So let's say you had 1, 3, and 2, 4. You take your second y, which is your 4, minus your first y, which is your 3, over your second y, which is your 2, minus your first x, which is 1. This would end up being 1. But you know you set it up right if you have your y's on top and your x's on bottom. You can also check because this is one of our ordered pairs and this is another ordered pair. If they do not match up, you have not set it up right. The slope of a horizontal line is 0 because our rise equals 0 and our run equals any number. So 0 over, let's say, 2 would equal 0 because anything that 0 is divisible by is equal to 0. So the slope of a vertical line then is not 0, it's undefined because our rise equals any number and our run equals 0. So if our rise is 2 and 0 is our run, 0's in our denominator. We can't have 0 in our denominator because then it just equals undefined. Now here's what some slopes look graphically. Our positive slope goes from our lower left to our upper right, or it moves upward. And our negative slope goes from our upward left to our downward right, or it moves downward in a horizontal line. It goes left to right, so it's 0 because it's a constant. Vertical line, it goes up to down, down to up, whichever way you want to see it, but it is undefined. Now you try and find these slopes. So, our rise, we are going down 5 and over 2. So our rise is a -5 and our run is 2. This is a negative slope, so there has to be a negative in our answer. Now the second one we know is just a horizontal line. Well, that's easy. It's just 0. For this next one, we go up 4 and over 3. So 4 over 3. I would pause and try these yourselves, but we're also going to go over these ones as well. This first one is easy. It's a vertical line, so it's undefined. It is not 0. This second one, we're going down 5 and to the right 6. So down 5 and to the right 6. It's a negative slope, so a negative number. For this one, we are going up 6 and over 3. So 6 over 3, which equals 2. So we could have just gone up 2 and over 1, because 2 equals 2 over 1, which is the same thing as our 6 over 3. Either way, we would have gotten the same slope. Now this, again, just shows our rise over run. So 15 over 5, which equals 3. So now you try these ones. A -5 over a -5, which equals 1. So that's a positive slope of 1. Now this one, our rise is -3, our run is 6, which equals a -1/2. So we would have a negative slope. Now every time you have a fraction and your ratio can be simplified, do simplify them. Do not simplify them if you can't. Now, here's using the formula. They used their second y, which is 8, minus their first y, which is 4, over their second x, which is 2, minus their first x, which is 3. And they did set it up right, since this is one of our ordered pairs, and this is another ordered pair. So you get a positive slope of 4/5. Don't forget that they had to keep change for the bottom, to keep that a positive. It would not be a negative. So now you pause and do these ones. So our second y is 5 minus our first y, which is 9, over our second y, which is 1, over our first x, which is 3. This equals a -4 over a -2, which is a +2, not a negative. Now for the second one, our second y, which is 4, minus our first y, which is 10, over our second x, which is -5, minus our first x, which is a -3. So that would be a -14. Or you can keep change. So you keep that a negative. Second one, keep change. So it becomes a -2, not a -8. And that would equal a +7 since they're both negative. I hope you guys learned how to find slope 2 different ways in this formula.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.